just one more day, just one more hour to speak the truth to power. Life's not that long, just a few short hours. So make each minute count, make every second matter. Just give me one more day to get it right. I need just one more day.
Transplant Talk with Nyshonda, Thursday, 7 p.m. on Facebook Live and YouTube.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Happy Thursday. What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Nyshonda Larimore, here with another Transplant Talk with Nyshonda. How y'all doing? How y'all doing today? How was your Thursday? It's a thankful Thursday. I'm so glad tomorrow is Friday. Okay, I'm super excited about that. I hope you are as well, because I need a break and it's about to be a very busy weekend. We are coming to you today with my special guest all the way from that Georgia line. All right, we're right here with Florida, Georgia. I just told him that, we real close to each other. So whatever Florida is doing, Georgia is doing as well. So we go together real bad, Florida and Georgia. Oh, and that football game is getting ready to come up next week. So go whichever team y'all want to go for. All right. So again, we'll say 1000 Lives presents Transplant Talk with Nyshonda. And for anybody that wants to, think about becoming an organ donor, make sure that you go to donate life.Florida.org and register to become an organ donor. And, once you click that link, you're able to then fill out the information here and fill in your name. And once you get to the bottom, you say other. How did you learn about us? You say other. And then please specify save 1000 lives. And as always, I want to know, hey, where's everyone from? And if you have any questions, especially for my guest today, hopefully we have your answers. So I promised him I wouldn't hold him long. This is another educator. All right. He's an administrator. And it's good to talk to a fellow teacher. Y'all know I've been crying about those 300 kids that I have. And y'all would not believe I just got 7 new kids. Seven new kids. And, amazingly, they took out like 5. But then they gave me 7 back. So something's wrong with that math. So we need to sit down and have a conversation. But without any further ado, I'm just going to bring him on out. He's on location. Let's just say that. He's on location tonight. So we'll have a different kind of interview from him, but it's not the first time that we've had this kind of interview before when someone is on location. Real quickly, I want to briefly give a shout out to Life Quest. A few of us will be going to the Tribute of Life tomorrow. So I'm super excited. I'm bringing along a few people with me. So I can't wait for tomorrow to do that. It's going to be a very, very busy weekend for me. So y'all pray for me. Okay. So without any further ado, on location, my guest for today is waiting to receive a gift of life, but he has a very interesting story that goes along with that. And without any further ado, I'm going to bring on Mr. Leon Hammond. Woo!
How we doing?
How are you doing, Mr. Leon Hammond?
I'm good. I can't complain.
Listen, I want to appreciate you for coming on the show, being on location. I want to appreciate you for being here today. All right. We did not say the devil was going to win in that traffic that you in, but you in Georgia. So we expect
right.
traffic,
Right. Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you as well. So go ahead and tell the guest and all the 50,000 people that's watching, I'm speaking it into existence. Tell them a little bit about who you are.
Again, as you already introduced me, I'm Leon Hammond. I am a father, a husband, educator of 16 years, leader, a mentor, a brother, son, grandson, and just an individual who is fighting, trying to, receive a transplant and continue to work and help other individuals and, do what I believe I'm called to do, which is educate and inspire and help the youth and just be an individual who gives back to their community. So that's kind of me encapsulated in a less than a minute
Yeah, yeah,
conversation.
I absolutely spoken as a true educator, spoken like a true educator. And we receive all of that. It is always good to give back, especially if you're in the position, each one should always teach one. So that is a good characteristic to have in being able to reach back and help people. So I actually was introduced to you by my guest from last week, Elder Blackwell. Elder Willie Blackwell introduced us. And again, very grateful. And he's doing exactly what we said, reaching back and helping our fellow man. And I know recently you all were on the Big Tigger show up there
Indeed.
in
Yes,
Atlanta.
yes.
Tell us about that experience.
So basically, Elder Blackwell, who has become really a mentor, a great friend, an advocate for me, reached out to me. He had previously done the show when he was in his search for a kidney. His daughter knew an individual who was a PA or a production assistant, something connected to the show in some fashion. So he did the show roughly a year or so ago. And then we had did an interview and were covered by the local news here in Atlanta. A PA on the show this time picked up that interview, contacted him, and reached out to us about coming in. So they wanted to obviously speak to him about how he's been feeling since his recent kidney transplant.
Yeah.
And then, like the person he is, he always wants to include me and bring me along. So, he said it was cool to bring me along and kind of, told them about me and our connection. And they invited us down and we had a good time just kind of, just breaking bread with him, talking, getting to hear his story from how he went from being in need of one to getting one and how he's rebounded and he's spry. He's spry at his age. He's moving around. So we got to talk about that. And they just, wanted to find out a little bit about me and what people could do to help. And we got to just talk about the importance of organ donation as a whole. So that was a great look, and I was greatly appreciative of him for looking out for me and doing such.
Yeah, come on, Big Tigger. Shout out to you for even, saying, I think that is something that we should add to our platform. So that was,
Right.
that was very good. For shout out to him. Just shout out to him. And hello, parents. All right. Of course, I could really start my show now when I see my parents are on.
Okay.
Watching now. I have to make sure everybody understands. I need you to text, tell, and tag somebody about this broadcast, please. Text, tell, tag, and share. Text, tell, tag, and share this broadcast because we know. Well, let's just repeat that. He just told us that he is waiting for a life-saving transplant. So we know that you have kind of like put out a search, to be able to make that happen. Well, let's go back. When did you learn that you were going to need a life-saving transplant, that you were going to need a kidney?
Okay. So really when I first found out about, if you want to call it the deterioration of my kidneys or them not functioning properly, I was 25 years old. So it was about 13 years ago. I initially found out about it. Like we talked before, but just being 25, single, fresh out of grad school, really working, no kids, Superman complex, thinking I'm gonna be fine. I'll work through this. I'll be okay. Kidneys were at about 39%. It was kind of something I stored away in the back of my mind. And they told me, hey, 10 years from now, we're going to be looking at a transplant. I just kept chugging along. And, we get through me moving to different states and having different nephrologists and just taking my medications and trying to do the things I need to do to sustain my, my natural kidneys as long as I could. And then, we fast forward to this past May. I went to my nephrologist, kind of a normal every 3 to 4 month checkup as my kidneys had begun to decline, just which was expected. He said, hey, we're hovering around 20%. It's time to start looking at, all our options, looking at, transplant as an option, but also looking at potentially dialysis if we get to that point. So it's time to start having these discussions and, it's a reality. It's here. So you have to address it and deal with it.
That is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is not the first time that you were introduced to someone needing a life-saving transplant. This is, well, not your, well, I guess within your family, you have seen it before. You
Right.
had the opportunity to see someone do dialysis and
Correct.
things of that nature before. So I know when this kind of like, how did that change, or how did that help you? Did it do anything for you to, just kind of know about it? I do understand that you didn't see it a lot, but it gave you a little glimpse inside of that world. How did you deal with that?
Well, for me, it was my father-in-law, and I think at the point in which it affected him, it was kind of sudden. It was just a lot of stuff hitting him. He had other health issues that hit him, but the kidneys was one of the bigger things that he was dealing with as well. But it was really so sudden for him, and I think coupled with other health conditions, it just was a bad situation for him. And he eventually passed away back in 2019. So for me, a little scary because obviously now knowing that I'm dealing with kidney issues, the only other person that I can think of and know immediately offhand passes
Mhm.
away, and he had kidney issues. So that's in the back of my mind a little bit like, well, worst case scenario, what could happen to me? But and my wife had to talk to me and just educate myself. I had to understand that there was other things at play that affected him as well. So it did have a little bit, I won't necessarily say negative impact on me, but it
Mhm.
did worry me some because the thing that I know I'm dealing with, I only seen something negative, a negative outcome for him. I hadn't seen any survivors or anybody who had successful transplants because it wasn't something I was really in tune to or educated about.
Okay. Okay. And so when you started down this road, this journey, you began to meet other people
Hmm.
within the circle, and then hopefully that kind of change your mindset a little bit of, yes, I
Oh
can,
yeah.
do this and get through this, this whole ordeal. I know you have a very supportive wife.
Hmm.
If I may ask, how is she, dealing with this? Because this could be kind of scary. Oh my goodness, I wish she was on,
Right.
from that
Hmm.
to go from her father into now you. That's a good question. We're gonna have sis on the show so that we
Gotcha.
can so that we could get her
Hmm.
um
Well,
get her take on it.
initially, my wife and my immediate family, my mother-in-law, my brothers, obviously, those are the only individuals I told. I really kept it to myself. And
Hush,
that's
hush.
really that's the connection really between Willie and I. Willie is Elder Blackwell is a good friend of my mother-in-law's friend, who's a member of his church. And those similarities we had where I'm sure he talked about not really disclosing it to anybody, not talking about it, kind of, dealing with it yourself made it tough. But as far as like my wife goes, my wife's a physician, so she's very much so educated and understands how the body works, and has even performed a, a, sur- a transplant surgery before when she was in residency. So she understood this whole process, and it's
Wow.
always like the voice of reason in my head because she's like, you know what, it's gonna be fine. We got to do these things and make sure we take care of it. Reviews my labs when those things happen, they come in. So she's always taking care of that side of things, reviewing them to make sure I'm understanding what the doctors are saying to me. So that's a comfort in and of itself. But I mean, she's super optimistic and prayerful and keeps me upbeat even when I'm down or freaking out or worried that something's gonna go wrong. She's always like a voice of reason, like, we're gonna be fine. You got this. Like, just keep staying the course, doing what you're doing, take care of yourself. And in due time, when it's your time, it's gonna happen. So that's her just kind of constantly, being an advocate and a positive voice for me throughout this.
Look, shout out to her. Come on, first
Yes,
of all,
indeed.
you got your own doctor in the house. Do you understand me? Like, look at God, to say, okay, I'm gonna give you some comfort. Your wife
Hmm.
has already seen this. She's a physician. She's gonna calm and protect you. Man, God is good.
Yes, all the time, all the
God
time.
is
So yeah,
good. That
so
that
yeah,
is
he's good.
wow. That I mean, just that's nice to have a doctor in your pocket right now on your side.
Very
That's a
true. Very
wonderful
true.
thing. Okay, so we know that. Tell us about what you've been going through to just kind of prepare for this. I know we
Hmm.
spoke about your blessing, because
Right.
you did finally open up. And I know how I feel for that husband to say, be quiet, don't be quiet. I don't want anybody to know,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know, that I'm sick. I don't want them to see me as
Mm-hmm.
weak because, you know, of being that athlete that he was. And I don't know why men do this. I don't know. But I mean, that's your nature, that's what you all are, you know, are doing. But you're blessed to have several people reach out to say, you know, hey, I will be,
Right.
I'll be an advocate, or I'll sign up to, you know, give you a kidney. Tell us about that.
Well, let me jump back to one thing you said about just that kind of that macho and holding it in, that thought process as males. I would just say for me, I think, you know, being an athlete, growing up, sometimes we're not told it's okay to express how we feel. We're not told it's okay to show vulnerability, be emotional. So I think if you don't necessarily see males in your life doing that, or it's not encouraged, or you don't do that, then that's kind of where it's keeping things to yourself and not really showing that side affects you.
Mhm.
So for me, I think that's what a part of it was for me. It was just like, hey, you know what? I got this. I don't want to be seen as weak. I can handle it. Not realizing that you can't battle this on your own. Like you, whether you need somebody to be a transplant, whether you're gonna need somebody to be a caretaker as you go through things, or if your body starts to decline, you need people. So I had to take a step back and realize that, and that led me to sharing with my friends. I really have groups and pockets of friends that I sent them a long text, and I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. Like every time I had to press send on the text, I was in tears because I was just like, all right, here's me telling my friends, my world, my village of people that I have this weakness, that I have something that I can't control, that I can't fix, that I'm going to need help with. And I don't know why I thought they would, you know, not take to it or not understand me or not be there to support me. A part of me in my head thought that, but I mean, it was completely what I should have expected. All of my friends just rallied around me, showed me love. I had a good friend I shared with you who came and got tested and was very close. And I mean, I honestly think when she found out she wasn't able to be my match, she was more affected than I was just because she wanted it so bad for me. She knows my kids, she knows my wife. We're all good friends. My kids call her auntie, so Auntie Coral. So she really wanted to be that for me, and I think in our conversation, even though I was kind of devastated, I really wouldn't let on to that because I knew how sad she was, knowing that she wasn't going to be able to be my match. But
Mhm.
I've had teachers at my school get tested. Like I shared with you, I went to a walk recently, and just one of the things the nurses from Piedmont, my transplant center, said is, you must be a decent human being. You got a lot of people reaching out to us to get tested for you. And I mean, honestly, it makes you feel good. Like,
Yeah.
you've cultivated great relationships. You know
Mhm.
that you try to do right by people, and at your core, you're a good person, and what you do right by people, or you try to at least, to know that that love is reciprocated in the way that somebody would think to be an organ donor for me is, I can't even thank them enough. I don't even know who all the individuals are, obviously privacy stuff like that. But, I always tell people that even if you can't get tested, or even if you're not comfortable getting tested, just being a support system for me being there. And maybe you can get tested and you may not be a match for me, you may be a match for somebody else. That's just, that means the world, just because you don't have to do it.
Right.
But because of the relationship and what we mean to one another, you would do that. That's pretty special.
That is a shout out to Coral. I think Coral or Coral.
Coral. Yep.
Coral. Shout out to
Auntie
her.
Coral.
Auntie Cora. Now,
Uh-huh.
okay, all right, man. We applaud you. We applaud you. Bravo for wanting to be that person. Now, I think we both had a similar experience. I remember my husband texting me saying, "Hey, we have we might have a heart that's available." And I was
Mm,
like, yes, yes, okay, yes. And then he texts me right back, no, that's not going to happen. I said, please don't tell me. Don't don't do that. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to my heart where I'm thinking
right.
that, hey, this might be a possibility. And I know you have the same sentiments, you
Mhm.
know. You want to share, elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, so I think it's an emotional roller coaster. It's highs and lows. And I'll be honest, on this journey of being on the transplant list is relatively new for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a person who has a stage 4 renal patient. I don't deal with a lot of the symptoms that everybody else is dealing with, which I share with you. You know, I may get some swelling in my legs, but I'm able to work. I'm not on dialysis. I'm still able to work out, do the things I need to do. So that's a blessing for me because I've seen other individuals through this process who were similar in age to me or just in the same stage, you know, stage 4, who were on dialysis, unable to work, just really laboring and struggling to get around. So I'm lucky
I'm
that
blessed.
I haven't reached that point.
Right.
And you know, I knock on wood that doesn't happen. But
Right.
when you are so close, like, and again, I don't even know if I sorry, Coral, if I told people, but you know, I love you so. But we were so close. You know, I shared with you like her doctor said on her end that some of our genetic markers were matching up so close that they would have thought we were siblings, and that was
Mm-hmm.
giving us both a lot of hope.
Mm-hmm.
So when it didn't happen, oh, it was definitely a big letdown because you know you feel like you're right there
Mm-hmm.
and then it gets taken away. But it was like, man, it's happening so fast. It just became a point where I've told people who's that, you know what, hey, I'm getting tested to see if I'm a match. I'm like, I love it. I appreciate you. I respect it, but just don't tell me. Don't tell me because I don't want to get my hopes up thinking, okay, we're in stage 2, we're stage 3, we're stage 4, we're moving along. And then
Mm-hmm.
it's a no. I'd rather get that call when it's that time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let
Yeah.
me know then. When it's that time, I'm ready then. But
Right.
before then, I don't want to be thinking I'm here, I'm at this peak. And then
Mm-hmm.
when you get that no, it's a crush and blow, and then you're going
Right.
down. So,
Yeah,
you
don't
know,
don't do me like that. Like
yeah.
don't tell me.
hmm
Just hush. So I mean,
When it's
I get
time, it's
that
time.
when it's time, it's time. And even then, it's a wait to make
Yeah.
sure that that kidney is good for you. So
hmm
I totally get it. And I don't know if y'all heard him, but he did say that he is not on like any restrictions. I've seen him
No,
drink water. I don't know how many ounces it was, but he was drinking that water down. You know,
I was a gallon bottle. That was a
a
gallon bottle.
gallon.
I'm trying to take that
Yeah.
down a day, and so I'm not on any restrictions, and
Mm,
that's the lucky part. Like my doc said that my nephrologist said that you know, really might be a good case study for somebody who has, you know, FSGS, who's in stage 4, who's, you know, down to 20%, but still functioning higher than that. You know, white blood cell counts high. You know, maybe had a little issue with the potassium, which, you know, just had to change into some dietary restrictions just to keep that lower. But other than that, you know, Lord willing, I've been doing pretty good. And that's why I say I'm fortunate and blessed because
absolutely.
I know others throughout this journey now, being a part of different groups on Facebook,
Hmm.
you know, doing some interviews with the Warrior Quest show and interviewing other people who are on dialysis or who are struggling, who even some have a little bit higher function than me, but, you know, are still going through their own pains. And
Hmm.
I'm fortunate enough not to be at that point. So I'm lucky, you know, I'm
Yeah.
extremely lucky. I'm blessed.
No,
I don't
you
take it for
are.
granted.
You're
So
extremely blessed.
yeah,
You are extremely blessed that
indeed.
you're not on dialysis.
Right. Right.
Extremely blessed. So I said I wouldn't hold you long. I know it's getting. First of all, you in Georgia, so I know if we cold down here in Jacksonville, y'all got a little chill in the air. Um,
Well, you know, I grew up north, so I've lost my winter legs. So don't get me wrong. I've lost my winter legs. I am not tough. I cannot withstand what I used to withstand in Cleveland and Buffalo no more.
uh-huh.
But you know, I was a little chilly this morning when I walked out the house, but you know, I mean, 60s and 70s, I can still bear with it. I wear a light sweater like I got on right now. I'm okay. I'm all right.
Right. Yeah, I can appreciate it as well. I know it's a little cool in the house. I'm still not turning on the heat. I don't care. I'm a bundle up, but I'm not turning on this heat because
I told you, y'all Florida people are built different. Y'all a
no.
different breed.
I told you we gotta. Oh, I'm not even gonna speak politics. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm not gonna talk politics at
Listen,
all. But
Florida people.
no,
Every
it's
time,
Florida,
every
Georgia.
time I get a listen, every time I get an article about something crazy happening in Florida, I'm gonna send it to you, and I'm just gonna say, see, I told you.
Well, look, go ahead and send it. I'll have my students read it, and that would be
Yep.
a nice what do we call them, current events for them
There
to
we go.
read. We're gonna keep
There
it
we go.
going. We're gonna keep the party going
Listen.
and have them, read a little bit more. So just so everybody knows, and if anybody thinks to, something, an inkling comes to their mind, you are with Piedmont Hospital, right?
Piedmont, Atlanta. Yep, I'm with Piedmont Atlanta Transplant. Um, you know, I have a microsite through the um, National Kidney Registry.
Okay.
So they set us up with a microsite on there. You can go in there and read more in depth about my story.
Mm-hmm.
You can get tested to see. You can get all the information if you want to get tested to see if you can be a donor, whether it be from me or somebody else. You can contact Piedmont Atlanta's transplant number, and if you say you want to get tested for me, you can. If you just want to, reach out to me on Facebook. Whatever, LinkedIn, social media platforms, you can share my story, share my microsite. I'll share it with you. Positive words of encouragement are always great.
Absolutely.
And just keep sharing this podcast, our conversation.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Uh-huh.
just spreading that word. If it just gets one new person who didn't know anything about something yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
then that's a blessing. So yeah, just share, and I'm always happy and thankful to even have these opportunities to speak about myself, the importance of organ donation, tell my story. And I think in the long run, much like Elder Blackwell said, I'll be returning the favor and doing the same for others as well. And
Absolutely.
whether it be being an advocate, a voice for somebody who's already been through it, just helping people, I plan on doing the same thing because, as you said earlier, to whom much is given, much is expected. Um,
Absolutely.
it's a requirement that I give back to other individuals because somebody's doing the same for me. So it's
Absolutely.
important.
I love it. Okay, and so I'm going to ask you to speak to that person that is on the fence about even having it on their driver's license or becoming
Hmm.
an organ donor. What would you
Gotcha.
say to that person?
I would tell that person that um, one because of freak accidents happen, things happen in general in life, and we know that tomorrow isn't promised. It may be you who needs an organ. It may be your child. It may be a spouse. It may be a loved one. It may be a dear friend who needs one, and you would probably want, or you for sure would want somebody if they're able to get tested and be of some type of help to that person. You would want them to do that.
Absolutely.
So if you can do it, what they say, you need one kidney to live. God gave us two. So you can share one, then share one. If you can share a piece of a liver, share. So if you have the means, you have the ability to do it, then do it. You can still live a full life with just one kidney. You can still be an athlete, a supreme athlete. I've met groups of individuals who are, groups of athletes who have all donated, but they still do marathons, they do Ironmans, they do these things to show you that you can still live this life of an elite athlete doing things even if the after organ transplantation or organ donation. So I think the biggest thing is, at some point you may find yourself in this predicament, which Lord knows, I hope you never do. I hope no one in your family ever does. But the reality is, especially for African Americans, we are touched by it more. So if you can be a donor, donate. If you can help in some way, do it. Because one day you may need that help, and we all need help sometime. And, I think it's just as an educator, I know as an educator, people know who give back and do service for others. There's no greater feeling than helping other individuals and being selfless and doing it. It's just a great feeling you get, and your reach, your effect, or helping me will give me more time with my daughters, and my
Yes.
daughters may in turn do something to change the world and help other people. So I'll give me more time with my wife. My wife is a surgeon. She's going to continue to help and save lives. So, more time with family is great. It's crucial. It's essential. More time to help other kids and shape the youth that's going to change the world one day or do positive things in our country or across the world. I mean, it's invaluable. So if you can do it, do it. If you can share it, share it. Whatever you can do, we appreciate it.
I thank you for that. And hopefully those words will encourage someone. And don't forget, there is a kidney pair, exchange. If
Hmm.
somebody wants to do that, if you don't fit him, maybe it could be a swap. And
Right.
you can help someone, and then someone else can help him. So, and shout out to my soror, Regina, for being that person to do that for her husband. So, shout out to the Murphys for being a
Shout
part
out
of
to you,
that.
Regina.
Yeah, that great program. So,
Right.
guys, that is the end of the show because y'all see it's just getting darker. Where he is, and I would
I'm
like for
moving
him.
into the light. I'm moving
You
into the light. Chocolate skin. I try to move it to as much light as I can, but
I'm talking about outside. I can see you.
yeah, I know. No, I'm saying I know it's getting dark. I'm keeping the lights on in here. So
We see you. We see you. So listen, guys, join us again next week where I have my friend all the way from California, Mr. Mr. CJ, and he is also coming back with a special story, just as Emmett did. So we going all the way. We going back to Cali so that we can see Mr. CJ. He was on our show before, and it was an amazing story. But now we need to go back and revisit that and see what's going on with him. So remember that organ donation does not only save lives, but organ donation changes lives and gives people more time to be with their family. So until next time, be kind to each other, be good to each other. God bless you all. And I want you all to have a good night. Let me see. Hi, Tony. I forgot to say hi, Tony.
Shout your people out.
Yeah, Tony. Have you met Tony?
No. I seen him comment. So Tony,
Yeah.
I am keeping the faith. And I also want to encourage everybody, make sure y'all tell Nyshonda 10 more years in education, 10 more. I told her I was going to tell her that every time I see her, 10 more. Keep her in the classroom. The kids love her. They can't do nothing without her. She's going to be teaching till she's teaching grandbabies and the grandbabies of the grandbabies. So 10 more, 10 more.
Live.
10 more.
Live detail. Live. It's time to go.
20 more before you retire. 20 more before you retire.
No, sir. Fix it, Jesus. Lord, no. I told you my goal. I told you. My dad said, thanks for sharing your story. Now, he could say what he wants, but the Lord moves in mysterious ways. So we're going to see. We definitely will see what else is doing. I had my thing until I just seen that other thing up. So let me find my video. God bless you all. Hold on. Stay right there, Mr. Leon Hammond.
Yes, ma'am. I got you. All right.
I need just one more day, just one more hour to speak the truth to power. Life's not that long, just a few short hours. So make each minute count, make every second matter. Just give me one more day to get it right. I need just one more day.
Transplant Talk with Nyshonda, Thursday, 7 p.m. on Facebook Live and YouTube.